Welcome to the Lose Your Big Ass Stomach podcast. I'm your host, Jay Jackson, and my mission here is to help you get rid of that big ass stomach and take back control of your health so that you can look and feel your best by being the best version of yourself, mentally and physically, while destroying the mediocre agenda society is trying to brainwash you into, and breaking our families' generational curses of being unhealthy by being a healthy and fit role model. It's time to set a new standard. It's time to set a new standard of living. If you find the podcast helpful, be sure to hit that follow button because that helps us build a movement. Let's go. Guys, I see a lot of folks who want to lose weight, and one of the first areas they start is they want to do cardio. They want to start doing the 10,000 steps a day. They want to start working out 7 days a week. But in reality, y'all, the number one thing you need to be focused on, if you want to lose belly fat, you want to lean out and just, feel good when you take your clothes off and when you have your clothes on. You got to learn how to meal prep, man. All right, so it's very, very important that you understand how to prepare ahead of time. And so I'm going to give you a couple of different ways you can prepare, all right, with your nutrition, with your meals, but also some other very, very important things that you need to pay attention to before you get to the preparation phase, okay? Because preparing is kind of like, there's different parts of preparing. Like it could be preparing for a couple of days worth of meals, be snacks, things like that. But what's also, I would say even more important is knowing how much you need to eat. A lot of folks be doing these meal prep. You see it all over social media. They post all these meals they done prepped up for the week, but then they be struggling to lose weight. You be like, damn, you prepared all them meals and you ain't lose no weight this past week? You still having a hard time losing weight after weeks, if not months? And that's because they're not aware of how much they actually need to eat, okay? And so before we get to the preparation phase, I want to let you understand you have to be aware of how much you need to eat over the course of a day. Whether that's 1,500 calories, 1,200 calories, 2,000 calories, you got to know your daily caloric intake. There's a lot of ways you can find that. One, you can hire a coach. Two, you could go on Google and type in TDEE calculator. That stands for Total Daily Energy Expenditure Calculator. And you have to put in a couple of those numbers, let it know, you got to do the little equation, and then it's going to spit out a certain number for you, okay? And you can start eating that amount or a little bit less. And so that way you can have like a foundation as far as how much you need to eat in terms of meal prepping, because you're dividing that number up, like what that number gives you in that calculator. You're dividing it up into a certain amount of meals, whether that's 3 meals that you eat, whether it's 3 breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks, or 2 meals, or 1 meal a day. Some folks be doing the OMAD diet. Some of y'all be all over the place. It's no right or wrong way to do this. The best way is the way that works the best for you, okay? And so that's the first side of it. I want to get that out of the way first, all right? And now once you have your calorie intake in order, of course, you can go into macros and protein, but guys, man, your ass can lose weight just knowing your calorie and protein intake. You don't even have to know all your macros and all that kind of stuff. Like that's way more advanced. All right. Now let's get to the different ways. Okay. The first way is what I call the rule of 3. I actually talk about this in my book called Gut to Abs. All right. Everybody who watching me on Instagram right now, y'all see my book right there, Gut to Abs. I talk about this in the book, and I came up with this rule because I was at a point in my life where I was training people in person. I had hired 2 trainers to work for me. I had like an assistant. And so I was extremely busy, managing my clients and making some of my trainers doing what they're supposed to do. And a lot of times I would find myself hungry as hell in the middle of the day and sometimes in the evening, but I didn't know what I was going to eat. I'm like, damn, man, I'm hungry as hell. And you get to the point where you starving. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You got to the point where you starving, and now you can't even think. You got a headache. You hangry. And so you like, man, well, I just got to put something in my stomach. And this is why folks end up snacking on chips. They end up just going to the gas station, getting a honey bun, getting some cookies. They get sweet stuff, right? They get a lot of junk food because they weren't prepared mentally. And so what is the rule of 3? The rule of 3 is knowing what are your top 3 go-tos, all right? What are your top 3 proteins? What are your go-tos, man? Like I can roll my top 3 proteins right off my tongue. Eggs, sockeye salmon, and I'll do like some, New York strip steak. You see what I'm saying? Or 93% lean ground beef. Those are my top three. Well, I said four. Those are my main proteins. It could be more than three, but I just like to do the rule of three. Like just pick three, man. All right. What are your top three vegetables? I know I like asparagus, Brussels sprouts, baby spinach. What are your top three healthy fats? I like cashews. I like what do you call it? Almonds. I like avocados. You have to know what are your go-tos, okay? And so in terms when it's time for you to eat, and even before it's time for you to eat, you already have an idea on what you can choose versus just not even knowing. That's what a lot of folks be going. They don't even know, and so you just pick and choose whatever's right there because you're hungry as hell. Okay? To go even further with the rule of three. Let's say, because sometimes I didn't want to eat at the crib. Sometimes I went out and ate. Like I would eat Chipotle, Kava. It's a spot over here by my spot called Kale Me Crazy. Those are my top three go-to food places that are like fast food places that I would eat at. And then you go even further with that. Well, what meals are gonna fit inside of your calorie intake, your daily calorie intake that you can eat that are at these three different places? What are the top three meals? It could just be one meal. It could just be two. It could be three. But you have to have your go-tos, because if you don't, this is how a lot of people have this issue of they lose some weight, then they gain it back. They have a lot of inconsistency with their weight. The weight fluctuation, they're frustrated. It's because your ass is being inconsistent with your habits. So your weight is going to be inconsistent. But if you're consistent with your habits, aka the foods that you're eating, the amount that you're eating, the places that you eat at, guys, this shit ain't got to be boring. That's why I say three. And when you get tired of eating chicken, damn it, switch over to eating New York strip steak. Eat salmon, eat shrimp, switch it up. And let's say I like eating chicken, but it get boring sometimes. It's a million different ways to make chicken. You can make it teriyaki. It can be blackened. You could saute it on a skillet. You could put it in a grill. You could put it in an air fryer. Guys, there's so many ways. Y'all are not thinking, man. All right, start thinking creatively. Okay, and so that's the first part of it. That's one of the first ways to meal prep. Just having an idea of what your go-tos are. The rule of three. Okay. For everybody who watching right now on Instagram, go ahead and comment. What are your top three fruits? What are your top three vegetables? What are your top three proteins? Go ahead and comment down below. All right. That's the first time I've actually done that on the podcast. I interact with y'all like on Instagram during the podcast. But anyway, make sure y'all want to interact a little bit more. And people who listening on the podcast, y'all might think to yourself, you know what? Let me go to the actual live so I can interact sometimes. But anyway. That's the first one, rule of three. The second one is the bodybuilder method. Guys, if y'all don't know, your boy, a couple of years ago, I was a bodybuilder. I was stepping up on stage, shredded, with the little hoochie daddy shorts. Yeah, I was ripped out of here. And, I found myself having to prep, meals for like 5 days, 4 days, sometimes 6 or 7 days. Just depending on how busy I was, because I was still training people at the time and I was still managing my staff. And so I was extremely busy, and I was in the gym for 2-3 hours a day getting ready for these shows. And so I had to prepare. And so if you're the type of person who knows you have an extremely busy schedule, you can prep breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 1 or 2 snacks for the entire week. I feel like it's a bit obsessive, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what bodybuilders do. They're pretty obsessive people to be able to do that, to be able to step on stage and be ripped up. But there are some people who have that obsessive personality where you need to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one way you can do it. Do I still do it that way? Hell no. I got tired of eating all that food. I got tired of prepping all the meals. I don't want to do it. And I didn't want to stand in the kitchen for like 2-3 hours prepping all those foods. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want to do it. But it's an option. It's a way that you can go about doing it. All right. I'm the messenger. I just want to give you the different methods and strategies that you could potentially use, and it's up to you to pick and choose which one you feel works best for you. All right. So that's the bodybuilder method, the bodybuilder meal prep method. Okay. The one thing about it that I did like about the bodybuilder method is you just become very consistent. Like when you're that consistent with eating pretty much the same foods every single day, you're guaranteed to get results. Like it is no guessing if you go get results because you're eating the same thing every day. You're eating the same portions every day. And so with that said, let's say you get to the end of the week, you done drop 2-3 pounds. What you doing next week? You doing the same damn thing. You prepping the same foods, the same portions. You're not changing up nothing. The same sauces that you put on your food. Like I was eating everything I would eat, I had barbecue sauce on. Every meal. Chicken, barbecue sauce. Tilapia, barbecue sauce. And it was very structured. And so I was able to get consistent results week in and week out. All right. And so that's the second approach that you can do, the bodybuilder method. The third method, the third way that you can meal prep to lose that big old ass stomach. I call it the bad and bougie method. All right. If y'all like me, if y'all into the hip hop culture, y'all heard the Migos. They got this song called Bad and Bougie. I call this the bad and bougie method. You can hire a meal prep company for you. Yeah, you can hire. You pay to play. All right. There's pros and cons to everything. What's the pro to being bad and bougie and getting a meal prep company to prep for you? The pro is you got that convenience. Now you don't have to stand your ass in the kitchen and cook, wash dishes, clean the kitchen, do all these different step away from work. It takes time. You know what I'm saying? Then what's the con? You got to spend a little bit more money. You got to spend a little bit more money. That's just how it works, y'all. You either go put in the effort or you go put in the money. Which one you rather do? All right. This is what I've noticed that a lot of affluent people tend to do. Affluent people, they tend to use their money to buy back time. And so if you got the bread and you like, shit, man, I could be over here working. I can make a sales call or two, and boom, I make $200-$300. Or you know what I'm saying? You just make more with the time that you have, or just have that peace of mind. You get to rest. You know what I'm saying? You get to be able to hang out with your family. So you have that time, and so you invest in a meal prep company to give you back that time because they prepping the meals for you. Okay? And then there's certain meal prep companies that will give you like an idea on what the calories are going to be, the protein, the portions, and those would be the type of meal prep companies that I would recommend you choose, because there are other meal prep companies out there that just go send your ass what they want to send you. You might get some lasagna. You be like, damn, well, what's the calories and macros on this? I don't know what that is. What's a macro? You don't want to do them meal prep companies. You want to do the ones that have, when you look at their website, they say something like, this is going to be 600 calories. This is going to be 400 calories. Or they might say something like, this is the Mediterranean style meal right here. This is a paleo style meal right here. You see what I'm saying? And so that way, you're aware of, okay, well, this is 600 calories. I see that I can only eat 1,800 calories to drop body fat. Well, I can eat 2 of these, and that's going to be 1,200. And then you just map it out based on how many meals you want to buy from that company. You see what I'm saying? Because you might be like me. Well, I cook my breakfast, but I'm okay with getting, a meal prep company to deliver lunch and dinner to me, because I don't always have the time to cook lunch and dinner. Okay? And so that's the third way, the bad and bougie method. All right? Shouts out to all my hustlers out there getting it in. Number 4, the last way. This is the way that I personally do it right now. I've gone through all of these phases, all these different ways. All right? But right now, in the stage and season that I am in my life, this is what I call seasonal prepping. Okay? And what I mean by that is being aware of what season are you in right now. Because there may be seasons where you can be like a bodybuilder. You know what I'm saying? You could prep based on, you could prep for 6-7 days out the week. And then other seasons, like the season I'm in, like I was just mentioning earlier, I'll cook my breakfast, right? And then sometimes my afternoons are so busy that when I cook my breakfast, I go ahead and cook my lunch and dinner too. And so that way I'm not guessing and hoping that I'm going to have time to, get over into the kitchen and cook lunch, get over into the kitchen and cook dinner. I already got it prepared. Or I might prepare lunch and dinner the day before. And so I'm not worried about it. Some of y'all, you work long hours. Some of my coaching clients that work in law enforcement, so they don't have time to go back home and cook these meals. You know what I'm saying? So they prep ahead of time. They might wake up in the morning, they cook their own breakfast, or their girl, their wife cook their breakfast for them. And then because they've already prepared lunch and dinner, now they take lunch and dinner to work with them. And they take a snack or two with them too. And so they good. And so you just got to know what season you in. So sometimes you're able to do that. Then other seasons, you be able to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the crib and not have no hiccups. So that's what I call seasonal preparation, all right? Everyone's lifestyle is different. And then also just knowing that your lifestyle may change at times. You may get a raise. We praying that you get your raise. We praying that you get that bag, you know what I'm saying? So you buy that new house, buy that fly whip, buy you some new drip, go on that vacation. I want that for you, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, just be aware that things change. That's one of the biggest things I learned from my dad. Don't nothing stay the same. Ain't nothing ever go stay the same. And so the lifestyle you have right now, you may find yourself being able to work out 6-7 days a week right now. But in another season of your life, you might only be able to work out 3 or 4. Same thing with your nutrition. In certain seasons, there was one season in my life where I was eating a lot of starchy carbohydrates pretty much every meal. Now, I really don't eat too much of that. Certain seasons where I was eating out a little bit more, eating a lot of, Chipotle, kava, you know what I'm saying? Kale me crazy. I was going out almost every day and eating that for lunch. But now the season I'm in, I don't have to do that. I eat all my meals from home. Have way more energy now. And I'm able to be more mindful because whenever you eat out, guys, I get it. It's fast food. It's convenient. But at the same time, there's always added calories that you're not tracking, that you're not aware of. And so some of y'all who are like, man, I'm eating healthy, but the weight ain't going down. How often you eating out? Well, should I eat out almost every day? Well, you need to account for those meals plus a little bit more calories than what you think you might be eating because it's just an estimate of calories. When you put it inside of MyFitnessPal and you track that stuff, that's just an estimate. It could be a little bit more than that. It could be a lot more. Or it might be a little bit less. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't track this stuff, that's why I always say, if your ass ain't tracking, you're slacking. And so this is why you want to track these things while you're, whatever type of meal prep method you want to use, whether it's the bodybuilder method, the bad and bougie method, the seasonal method, you still need to be tracking this shit. Like people join my coaching program. They invest in my coaching program. I map out the entire nutrition plan so they don't have to guess about nothing. But I still have them track that shit. Why do I still have them track it? Because I want to help people lose weight and understand how to keep the weight off. This is why so many people struggle with losing weight because they're buying meal plans. They're just gimmick focused. You're quick fix focused. Oh man, I just go buy the plan and then I'm going to do my thing. But if you don't track it, you go end up going back to your old ways because you don't know why you need to do what you were doing. Why? Like what made that meal plan work? But if you don't track how many calories that dude or that woman had you eating, that professional had you eating, you're bound to go back to your old habits. You don't even know the portions that allowed for you to drop the body fat. That's why it's very important to track it. I've had plenty of coaching clients jump inside my program. They eat the same foods. Because I allow people to eat foods they still enjoy in my program. But now we just gain more awareness around how much they're eating, right? And so a lot of them come to me, man, dang, Coach, I had no idea I was eating that much calories in peanut butter. Man, I was putting it in a smoothie. I thought the smoothie was healthy. Man, I'm drinking about 600-700 calories in just the smoothie from the peanut butter. But if you don't track it, your ass will never know. That's what some of y'all be doing. You be going to Chipotle because y'all see my Chipotle video on Instagram and you got beans on top of rice, on top of guacamole. And so you got 2 starchy carbs. You got beans and rice. And you wonder why your stomach ain't going down. But if you don't track, you'll never know. Because them beans plus the rice plus the guacamole plus the chicken plus the everything else you want to add to it, not to mention the soda that your ass drink, that's easily 1,200 to 1,500 calories. Easy. And imagine if you needed to eat only 1,500 calories to drop weight. That's just in one meal. Not to mention everything else you eat. This is why it's very important to have that structure, that clarity. This is why I always tell y'all, man, you gotta invest in the coach, man. Invest in help. And so that way you're not spinning your wheels for months, if not years. Because a lot of y'all have a lot of potential. You know, I talk to hundreds of y'all on a weekly basis in my DMs, and I'm just like, man, you just don't know how close you are to changing your life. You have no idea. But, you know, when you take the easy way out, when you go through the trial and error, it just takes longer, man. All right? But these are different ways that you can go about meal prepping to lose belly fat. All right? The rule of 3, the bodybuilder method, the bad and bougie method, which is probably the most costly, yet the most convenient, and then the way that I go about doing it, which is the seasonal method. I change up the way I meal prep based on the season that I'm in. All right? So I'm a little bit more flexible. That's why my strategy, what I help my coaching clients with, is called flexible fat loss nutrition. Okay? It's flexible. It's you know, our lives are changing. So with that said, hopefully y'all found this podcast helpful. If you did, be sure to hit the follow button, leave a 5-star rating so we continue to grow this movement. And we out of here. Let go. Yo, appreciate you for tapping in and listening to the podcast episode today. Hopefully you found it valuable. And if you did and you want to learn more about how I can help you lose the big ass stomach, transform your body, and get your health on point, DM me real results over on Instagram at JJacksonOfficial for more information. And I'll reach back out to you to do what I can to help you hit those health and fitness goals. Let's get it.